Welcome back to Zoo Sicily. Welcome back to another build in our wonderful Italian located zoo. Today we are going to work our way to the inside of our lemur house, and this is going to be the last episode before the brand new DLC, the Arid Animal Pack, is going to launch. And actually, before we actually get going, there is something very good for you. I have a message from today's sponsor of the video, which does fit quite well to the new DLC. Special thanks to our sponsor of today's video and the sponsor of the channel. Instant Gaming is a wonderful platform on which you can get your favorite games to a great value. Here you've got 24/7 support, you've got over 10,000 games at your hand, and you can find them very simple via a search bar, just like our Planet games over here. Or if you fancy, have a look at Cities, for example. Everything is here, including all the DLCs you wish to have. So special thanks again to Instant Gaming. Link is in the description if you want to grab a game. Please click there and have fun. So obviously you can prepare yourself for getting the game over there, or you can actually do it with all the other games you want to have. So you do support me, but you also get your favorite games, so it's basically a win-win. This is why I'm such a big fan of having Instant Gaming as a sponsor. But let's get back to the video. You can see I'm doing quite a bit of changes here, and today's video is going to be a bit of a different approach. I'm going to talk you through all the thought process in detail, and in the real-time part I'm going to talk you through my future plans of this zoo, because there are a couple of things we have to discuss, and in general about Planet Zoo. So if you are a little bit more interested into what is going on in the future, stick with me. Or if you just do like real-time parts more, then the time-lapse, stick with me. But now let's focus on the build. So you can see I'm changing the plaza over here quite dramatically. I have gotten rid of the little pathway that sneaked to the right-hand side. I wanted to make this plaza look a little bit more coherent in its appearance, especially from the ground, and I've done then a little bit of pathwork over here. Don't mind the mess with all the fences and railing. I just used that, so yeah, I have an idea where exactly stuff is going, and then gonna put some barriers in so that people do not go through the pieces. I just want to ensure that the plaza looks also good in usage, having a couple of trees and stuff in here and plants to make it a bit more green. We were talking about a piano in this space, and I will bring one in. I just didn't have the time to do so. As I said, we will also have some cleanup episodes in live streams. For those of you who don't know, I have been streaming on a regular basis, which is amazing. It does work, and it is a lot of fun seeing you. We constantly grow the amount of people watching, so I'm really, really happy that so many of you found the way there. So big props to you, and also a good hint for all of you who haven't been there. We discussed it quite a lot. And well, out of the stream, there are a couple of things that turned out to be very helpful for this build. So one thing I have to address though, before we go and talk about the inside. Many people have commented in the last episode that they felt like the plaza is not too big enough, or actually it's big enough, but the staircase in front of it is actually not located correctly, because it does make the whole entrance area a bit more narrow than it should be. Well, and I have to say, if we were talking real architecture in a city, we are 100% right. The problem is that this is not a real scenario. This is a fictional zoo, which is a fully intended build, and the location of the staircase is more than intended. It's not very often the case that I think of sound barriers and stuff like that, but this time I did. So the staircase is very much positioned exactly this way. So in order to make two things. First, I want to control the guest flow a little bit, simply because we are at the very end of the zoo. This is one of the back ends of the zoo. It's not a central spine, it's nothing. It's basically this house over here showcases the end of one side of the zoo, which obviously makes sense that not too many people are in this area anyways. So that's number one. Number two is, as I said in the last episode, this may actually be an area for some events or so that could be in the alley or could be on the plaza, and I wanted to ensure that we have a certain sound barrier for the rest of the zoo, because apparently with the lemur house it's all fine. You can get the lemurs inside and close off the doors, whatnot, and the iguanas on the other side as well. There you can do something, but some other animals across this little hill, they live outside, and so you can't do too much And so if you don't have the staircase there, the sound would actually go a lot more easy through the alley up there. So if this would be an event plaza, I wanted to have it a bit more secured by the staircase. And then I also wanted to have like a little bit of a barrier for the lemurs themselves, especially for the outside area. I wanted to ensure that they have at least somewhat of privacy, because people can in fact walk into the house. So there is already quite a bit of stress coming their way. So I wanted to ensure at least somewhat of a control over the guest flow. And this is why I decided to make it that cramped, and so that people, when they come down, also have to decide to go to the left and right, and we don't have congestion to the lower part of the staircase actually. But yeah, that's about the decision process behind why the staircase is what it is. Now we have to talk about what the chat forced me to do. I forgot again the name, but there is one kind of building in Italy that has a freaking insane what is that, ceiling design out of metal frames and stuff, and they forced me to do this, and I kind of leaned in because it just looks so awesome. But what we did first of all is we did a little cleanup in here. So with the roofing, we also got a little bit of a different vibe to it. Also, I must say it turned out to be looking absolutely mega. You'll see that in the real-time part. It's hard to catch from the video, granted, but you'll be able to see that in the real-time part. It looks absolutely phenomenal. I'm a really, really big fan. I'm happy that chat forced me to do this. It took much longer than I expected, as always. I wanted to finish this build in the stream, which I didn't. So I had another 2 or 3 hours that, were taken in order to finish the whole build. But it was pretty much worth it. So we will talk about the structure now. It is a very interesting structure. It's not as complicated as I thought it was, but it's kind of a bit of a finicky way to find the exact metal pieces in terms of size and stuff. But one thing I have to say is that it makes also static-wise, it makes a lot of sense to have something like that. So now the roof is definitely better supported. It makes a lot more sense, and I don't have to do some additional roofing. But it was quite a pain to work my way through here, because as always, we don't really have the pieces that we need. Sometimes pieces are too short, sometimes they are too long. A scaling option would be absolutely mega, but we don't have that. So as long as we don't have something like that, we have to work our way through the pain of making it work with the pieces available, which most of the times does work. With a little bit of tricky building and some workarounds, you very often get exactly the result you want to. I think there's barely anything that isn't possible in the game. It's just sometimes taking longer than it should, but that's what we're here for. Now you can see I'm using different types of metal frames over here in order to create this almost like spider web look over here in this half circle cutout. This is to really ensure that there is a good kind of connection to the wall, and that makes sense that static wise it does hold it quite nicely. And then we started making the metal frame for the rest of the build. As you can tell, it's connected to the roof pattern, and then we have some other beams for additional support, but also for like design reasons that go through here to really make sure that this all looks good. And then I just copied them through the building, put another couple of beams in the middle, and then that was already about it. It's not in particular super complicated from the build perspective. But bringing this all in the right positions and making this all look good together took quite some time. And also it's been during a live stream, so obviously that takes always time, because talking to chat and so on is rather important. I try to do it, and lately the chat has been very active, which is an increased challenge for me, obviously, to keep track of it. But on the other hand, it makes the whole stream so much more enjoyable, because the stream is just so much more easy to maintain in terms of I get the topics, I can jump in what you guys are talking about. So really, 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 really interesting. Big fan of that. And yeah, you notice I'm just doing a little bit of advertising here for the live stream, because it's just so much fun. And I'm also very happy I can maintain a schedule of 2 times a week, which is surprisingly working. I'm very proud of me and my wife that we get this juggled, but the next weeks may be more difficult because of more work, but who knows. And then end of July, beginning of August, we'll be in holidays. I'm not sure if I'm gonna take my computer or not. I have certain ideas, but yeah, we'll see about that. Now, let's talk about the next step in this build. We have done the roofing, and now it's time to build the actual climbing frames. And I gotta say, this may well be one of my best climbing frame designs I've done so far. I had no particular idea about the inside when it came to the exact building style, but one thing I knew was I did not want to do like the very classic, very standardized interior where you have these pretty much zoo-ish climbing frames. I wanted to do something more natural looking, as if this whole build has been repurposed and just open up for the animals to climb in and just do something completely different with it. I did quite struggle a bit because of how the pieces connect here and there. But I must say, at the end of the day, I am very happy with the outcome. I tried to really utilize most of the climbing pieces available in order to make something nice looking that could very well be a zoo. We also do have a little issue with some nests I built. The problem is these don't work. You'll see them in a second, but they don't work. For whatever reason, I can't explain. It's maybe because of the game kind of not using the pieces right, or maybe they're too small. I don't know. The fact is they don't work, and it's a pity because it would be absolutely lovely if they would work. I have done something similar in the past and they did work, and now apparently with the new rope pieces over here, as you can see, I'm using those. It just didn't work out. Maybe it's too small, even though it should not be too small. It definitely was a little bit of a challenge to build it in the first place. As you can see, I was struggling a lot until I decided to go with the good old mud pillar trick in the middle. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, this mud pillar is legit the best piece for do some circular builds. If you use the central spine, put a piece on and use the F button to center it, and then you put the pieces in and you do rotate it with the help of the piece, you get a perfect circular thing. As you can see over here, these are the type of nests. I found some of these examples on ZooChat. I love them, and my idea was to connect them to the climbing frame so they have some privacy areas in which they can chill down and sleep. And well, as you can guess, it's not working. I'm gonna show you in game. It's really a pity. I would have loved them to be working. I remember that with the old rope pieces that was possible. Maybe I have to just do this again with the in-game 2-meter rope piece and just see what that does. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I used the new rope piece because it's non-climbable, and the in-game rope pieces are super finicky when you keep them climbable, but if you turn them off, it seems not to work either. But yeah. So then we have some hanging ropes over here. As you can tell, I wanted to this time really use some more hanging ropes, not too straight, because with the straight ropes, it always feels so stiff, if that makes sense to you. Like, it really feels stiff if you don't have them hanging. Again, as I said, if there's anything I wish for in a Planet Zoo 2, it would be a completely new rope system that is a climbing rope that you can almost put in like a physically accurate object and just put two kind of connecting points, and then the rope is generated in between as an actual physically accurately rendered rope. That would be like the best thing ever, because we have so many animals that would utilize this system. That would be absolutely cool, but I'm not sure how exactly you would program that. I think it would be possible, but at this point it isn't. It's a little bit of a pity because it would look so good. But yeah, I continued doing certain things for the outside as well, creating like a little different nest over here in which they could technically go in. As you can guess, they can't even enter this one as well. Looking at it right now, it looks a little bit as like the little tray of Baby Yoda, but it's not meant to be that one. Yeah, just preparing the climbing frames first, making sure that everything is just also realistically working when it comes to the physics. Like, you know, the different pillars and stuff should really be in a position where they make sense and would be technically working. And then I started to put in some foliage as to decorate it, and I continued to be a bit more brave with the foliage, especially to the outside where things would be growing quite a bit more. I made it super overgrown, and I tried to use the pieces that work perfectly fine as a bush, what they can still walk through. It's always the same problem. You have some bushes that act like a freaking barrier. You can't really use them because you would destroy the traversal area, but luckily enough, there are a lot of pieces that are super bushy where you can't really look through, but the animals can actually traverse through it. It basically has no barrier for them, and these are obviously the best pieces for these types of builds. So you don't take away from their traversable area, but you do actually add quite a bit of foliage. So very happy with how that turned out. And I also put a couple of, enrichment items here and there so that they walk around, and they do walk around quite a bit. So I'm very happy. I may add that I could actually put a couple more of these lemurs in. I have just some in here for testing reasons. I should put in more. I think it's 4 lemurs in. That's not really the amount of animals we would need in here. But yeah, then I went on to decorate the inside, and the inside is a little bit more planned, obviously, because this is something you would maintain in a different way than you would with the outside. So outside you could keep the grass growing and stuff like that, but the inside would be maintained a bit more. So I was a bit more careful with the positioning of of foliage and stuff, so that it is a bit more nature wise. If you don't know what nature means basically a man-made nature. Like, it's an attempt to mimic nature, but in a man-made way, and it's just kind of organized to keep it very easily maintained. That's basically what I'm doing inside. And then, I tried to put a couple more, concrete footers in, just so that would be realistically easy to clean, and also for the keepers and stuff, easier to walk. That's the idea. And then just putting some generic bushes here and there, just to make it look good. But that's about it. This is how the inside looks, and you'll see some other little adjustments in the real-time part, but I think it's time to jump in. So let's do exactly this. Alright, I just couldn't... Oh, have you seen how the little poop over here vanished? I just wanted to quickly stop over here, because I actually wanted to start the video in this frame where a wonderful lemur just sat over here, and the moment I hit recording, the game just crashed, and I just reloaded, and the only thing I was left at was the little kind of poop in front of me, exactly in this frame over here, and then this wonderful dude just vanished. And so this is, look, yeah, exactly here. Okay, now it's actually a lot too much going on. Anyways, we are in the finished version. Let me just jump out here so you have an idea. This is the finished build, and you can tell that I am mega happy, hopefully, from the way I present this today. So this is the outside climbing area, and my god, am I happy with how it looks. This backside over here will be a bit more hidden. I put some more ivy up there as soon as I'm ready with the backstage area. Don't mind the wrong boards, they're just placeholders at the point. But yeah, so they have a lot to climb, a lot to jump. They can really go quickly from A to B. It's all like one course. And then they have like a tree over here, a little bit of a forage box. They can just have fun. It's all lowered down a little, so they have some privacy. There is this little kind of frame where they can go in and out. I'm very happy that they used this. Now let's go in real quick so you have an idea what exactly I'm talking about. There you go. Oh, look at that. We are greeted already by 2. Some of the areas are left a little bit more simple, simply because also for maintenance reasons. But over here you have this little gate where they can go in and out. Like one of them just showing this to us, jumping down here, doing a little moonwalk. Of course you do. But usually it works rather okay. They do jump from here to... Well, not sure what exactly you are doing, but it does work somewhat okay-ish. They do have some interesting jumps. There you go. This is normally how they do this. I'm quite okay with this. And then yeah, I put these strips in order for the staff members. It is a little bit weird because they plop in and out a bit too crazy, but I think it's fine because this is where the keepers can go from this side where the gate is, a little bit of a hidden door, to here. And this is obviously also where the actual backstage area is for them. Really lovely stuff. And I'm quite happy with how it all turned out. Like, look at the design of the frames. They're all above your head. They have some easy areas to get to. They can also get some privacy in these nests over here. Unfortunately, they don't work, but technically they could. Like, I put them in spaces so they have a bit of privacy. Obviously, it can be a bit more loud in here. And then they have all the climbing. I left this relatively simple and open, yet the roof design and what the people in the chat forced me to do really adds to the overall feeling of the building. Yeah, just mega happy. Let me just quickly jump into free look mode. There you go. And then just jumping up, you can see from above, it all looks very cool. They have some cool areas. I quickly thought about maybe giving them access to these areas as well. What the heck is going on in the background? Some windows just opened in the background. Not sure what they did. But maybe I thought this might be too high up here and they would actually be burned by the sun. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to give them any access here. But yeah, so this is the build and I'm very happy with it. Let me just quickly stay over here with the camera. That's quite a decent spot. Yeah, the lighting in here is relatively problematic, but I'm also a big fan of how this ground looks. Actually, what is going on with you? There's like this one piece I'm just going to delete because it just doesn't really work exactly how as intended. There you go. Okay, well, that was an insanely interesting look. But yeah, so this is the final. Oh god, there was just some poop falling down. This is the poop episode. They also have like a little bit of an area to chill up over here. But yeah, as you can tell, this is nice. I will somehow try to solve the problem why they cannot use these nests. Hopefully I'm able to do this because I love them too much to get rid of them. They add just so much vibe to it. But yeah, hope you guys loved this video as much as I did because it really was a lot to do. Now, this has been the last episode without the Arid Pack DLC. So from next week on, the videos for Planet Zoo will contain material of this DLC. Hopefully this is going to go good. We are going to start with the porcupine. If you haven't seen this one, we have already been preparing the habitat yesterday on stream. So thank you for everyone who has been there. And for those of you who haven't, check out the Twitch link so you don't miss out on that. And again, a little reminder, if you need a new game or want to pre-order something, for example, City Skylines 2 or so, you can do this via the link to Instant Gaming in my description. You help me, you help yourself. It's a win-win for everyone. I love it. And now I wish you guys a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the outside, enjoy whatever you're planning. I talk to you in the next one. Have a lovely weekend and goodbye.